It appears that expressing the existence of women is now considered inappropriate, even if you are an incredibly liberal person. It seems that it doesn't matter anymore. The latest example of this comes from an article by Politico titled The Metamorphosis of J.K. Rowling. Some fans believe that the author of the Harry Potter series, J.K. Rowling, is more aligned with the evil Death Eaters than the wise Dumbledore when it comes to trans rights. She has been criticized for acknowledging the existence of women, which is considered a bad thing. According to Sarah Wheaton of Politico, even some of Rowling's biggest fans now feel the need to separate her work from the creator. If you join the Potter Trail walking tour in her adopted hometown of Edinburgh, you will learn that Rowling wrote a significant portion of the first Harry Potter novel at Nicholson's Cafe, a place co-owned by her brother-in-law. As a financially struggling single mother at the time, she could spend the entire day there sipping inexpensive espresso, without feeling guilty about taking up a table. You will also be informed that, 12 years later, while finishing her last novel, Rowling treated herself to a luxurious suite at the 5-star Balmoral Hotel, located just half a mile away. On a cold and windy Wednesday in February, an enthusiastic tour guide named Alex shared the story of how Rowling celebrated her triumphant moment by herself, downing a bottle of champagne. She is considered a legend. Although the tour is free, fans of the Wizarding World are encouraged to make an optional donation, with a portion going to the Scottish Trans Alliance, an activist group advocating for transgender rights. The tour group's website acknowledges that many of you may be aware of J.K. Rowling's recent tweets regarding transgender issues. Being a Harry Potter fan during these times can be challenging for many. However, we sincerely hope that J.K. Rowling's personal views do not diminish our appreciation for the books and their messages of inclusion and tolerance. My 8-year-old daughter is a big fan of the Harry Potter books. She understands that both girls and boys exist because she is not ignorant. Yesterday, I played a simple game with my 2-year-old daughter called Girl and Boy. She would point to people in the crowd, and she correctly identified them as either a girl or a boy every single time, because she is not ignorant either. And yet, we are expected to believe that acknowledging the existence of boys and girls is a crime that requires us to disown J.K. Rowling. This is absolute insanity, of course. Politico laments this situation, noting that as the criticism against Rowling has intensified, she has become more combative, cheerfully retweeting her detractors to provoke further backlash. She is deemed bad simply for observing that people are being mean to her. Furthermore, when it comes to driving the debate, she seems to be winning. When asked if her battle was a hill she wanted her legacy to die on, she emphatically replied, "Yes, sweetheart. I'm staying right here on this hill, defending the right of women and girls to talk about themselves, their bodies, and their lives in any way they damn well please. You worry about your legacy, I'll worry about mine." She is correct in her stance, but according to Politico, this makes her very, very bad. And that's why Politico feels the need to publish a lengthy article, spanning several thousand words, highlighting just how bad she is and claiming that she will endanger transgender people by simply acknowledging the existence of women. On a related note, my friend Dave Rubin was recently suspended from Twitter for mentioning that Jordan Peterson had also been suspended from the platform for mentioning that Ellen Page, who now goes by Elliot Page, is actually a woman despite media portraying them as a man. You are not allowed to discuss any of that. Apparently, it is considered extremely bad. Moving on, there seems to be growing concern within the Democratic Party regarding Joe Biden's handling of the economy. Perhaps the obvious indication is that he is now tweeting at gas stations. Yes, that's right, he is doing that. Over the weekend, on July 2nd, he tweeted the following. My message to the companies running gas stations and setting prices at the pump is simple. This is a time of war on global apparel. Bring down the price you are charging at the pump to reflect the cost you're paying for the product, and do it now. Well, no! We cannot simply bring down the prices because you have hindered future investments. It's amusing that Joe Biden believes that if he just yells, he can solve problems. He's like an old man standing outside a gas station, shouting at it. That's the President of the United States now, yelling at things. It's too hot outside. I believe in domination. And look at the sun. You son, come on, man. Jack, your pony, dog pony boy. Son, too hot outside. Stop that shining. Stop that right now. And by the way, Joe Biden is still having his moments. On July 4th, after finishing a speech, he seemed unsure of where to go and wandered aimlessly while his shirt remained unbuttoned down to his navel. Apparently, this has become a thing. Joseph R. McBiden is really making a spectacle of himself at the age of 98. As per Politico's report, President Joe Biden remains a dissenting voice when it comes to the possibility of a recession in the United States, while concerns about an impending economic downturn intensify among experts and insiders from Wall Street to Washington. The Federal Reserve is actively battling against the highest inflation witnessed in 4 decades. The surge in prices and the Federal Reserve's aggressive interest rate hikes have resulted in a significant decline in the performance of the S&P 500 stock index during the first half of the year, marking its worst performance since 1970. The situation is far from ideal, and consumer confidence has reached record lows. Economists are increasingly apprehensive that a downturn is not only probable but may occur sooner than expected. This danger is underscored by a prominent Federal Reserve growth tracker. Fed Chair Jerome Powell has openly acknowledged that the central bank is willing to tolerate a recession if it means regaining control over inflation. He believes that the greater mistake would be to fail in restoring price stability. While President Biden has voiced support for Powell's efforts, the growing anticipation of a recession compounds the economic challenges faced by the administration as Democrats approach a crucial congressional election later this year. The rising concerns over inflation are causing alarm among experts. Josh Bivens, the research director at the left-leaning Economic Policy Institute, remarks that while everyone is focused on inflation, the truth is that people would strongly dislike a recession as well. It is evident that both inflation and recessions have detrimental effects. Americans are already pessimistic about the state of the economy, despite the unemployment rate standing at 3.6%. A contracting economy would exacerbate the situation, leading to widespread layoffs and pay cuts. Bivens warns that the prevailing mood could deteriorate significantly. He argues that if the economy contracts, it would indicate that the Federal Reserve has overreached in its attempts to control surging prices nationwide. The prevailing focus of economic discussions has shifted from high inflation to a growing certainty of an impending recession, while White House allies prepare for it, and Republican lawmakers emphasize its inevitability. Wall Street analysts are increasingly incorporating the possibility into their forecasts. Business leaders are openly discussing the potential economic slump during investor meetings and within their organizations. Despite these concerns, some Democrats are highlighting positive aspects of the economy and hoping that the central bank can slow down growth without plunging the country into a full-blown recession. Representative Jim Himes of Connecticut